Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Great. Good afternoon, Les Roy and PM Harris. This is Rusty Liebert, and I'm happy that I get into the show. I must commend the government, the Team Unity government, for the work it has done so far. As you know, Mr. Prime Minister Harris, that I was a teacher for many years, and so my contribution this afternoon would be on education. One of the things that I would like to bring to your attention, if I can, is in your manifesto on page 25 and 28, you talk about education and assisting people who deserve or earned, rather, I prefer to use the word earn, the opportunities to go away and study. Recently, I've had reason to seek funding from the Development Bank, and I know that you can't do everything at one time. And I heard you say that you're coming up with a new budget. I am wondering if some serious considerations can be given to the way in which a traditional student loan is constructed. I find that for people studying in the United States, it's not as easy for you to get the amounts that you really need. I think the Development Bank has a set amount, and that's it. But your scholarship can go on for much more. So I'm wondering along those lines if you can, give some consideration to that. I know everything can't be done one time. I just experienced it, and so as I experience my situations, I'll bring them to the forefront. I'd listen off here and for your contribution to my question. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. We are going to take two more calls, and then we would answer. Good afternoon, caller.
Mr. Harris,
Good afternoon.
you're always making mistake between Urban Baptiste and Anita Baptiste. It's me who tell you that my mother said thanks.
Okay, there.
Because for them one patch, they never get no money.
Okay.
It's because of me, right?
Thank
Urban
you.
Baptiste Lady Way.
Thank you, Lady Ray.
Yeah, and she feels so nice. She did light like a cork.
I'm glad to hear that.
All of them vote out that she wouldn't get it. Me is who make her get it. Unity all the way.
Thank you, Lady Red. I
Okay,
appreciate
baby.
it. Thank you, my love.
Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and a pleasant good afternoon to the Honorable Prime Minister, Timothy Harris. Pleasant good afternoon to you both. I want to extend commendation to the Honorable Prime Minister and his colleagues for a job well done during the past 8 months and counting. But I have some concerns. My concern is that I would like to know from the Prime Minister when and how soon is he and his cabinet willing to go to Parliament to finish the 2 readings of the Freedom of Information Act. That's one. 2, how soon and when are they going to present the IPL in Parliament, the Integrity in Public Life Bill? Because those are significant pieces of legislation as to avoid corruption. And we, the public, should know what's going on in Parliament. We have that right, especially under the Constitution. Certainly, I cannot desire more than what Team Unity has done. And I'm a strong supporter of Team Unity. I always will and will continue to. But another thing I have to ask the PM, as Minister of Homeland Security and Homeland, I want to ask him, where is his idea, or what is he attempting to do as far as national security is concerned? Because the Star Wars and the Ardent is on dry dock for the past 2 years. And we have not hearing anything from he as the minister responsible or his subordinates in the persons of Mr. Patrick Wallace and Mr. Coyote Sutton. And, you know, it seems like, Mr. PM, that we have incentives, maybe we inherited it or what, I don't know, that we have a stamp in, stamp out immigration office at the airport. And that is hurting our national security severely. And I would like you, Mr. Prime Minister, to address those questions,
Okay,
please.
caller, thank you very much for your
And
questions.
God bless you.
God bless
Thank you,
you
bye-bye.
too. We'll hold the lines for now while the Prime Minister tries to answer several of the questions posed to him.
I want to thank the caller for the call and, of course, for the words of commendation. I gather there's an overseas call with me.
There's an
Just
overseas
take that
call.
and then we
Let's take that call. Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The program is called Work for You. And during the campaign, it was talk about prosecuting those people that voted in places where they do not live. And the election has been over, and I have not heard of anyone being charged. And we know that people voted where they did not live. And as we bat our eye, another election will be here. So I want to know, what are y'all doing about cleaning up the voters' list? And do y'all consider electoral reform? That's my question to you.
Thank you, caller.
You have a good day.
You too.
I want to thank the caller from overseas for that question on electoral reform. And the quick answer to that one is that yes, we are committed to electoral reform, and we are going to shortly be outlining our approach to electoral reform. The matter of those who may have voted illegally and participated in illegal acts on election day, that matter is not a closed matter, and there is still time to deal with that subject, and it will be dealt with. We have heard repeatedly a call for that, and certainly we will not ignore the voice of the people and a very reasonable demands which they are making. The good governance agenda to which we are committed does in fact include passage of integrity in public life. We are committed to that, and we will do that. It does include reference to term limits for the holder of the office of the Prime Minister, and we are committed to deliver on that. And it does in fact include freedom of information. We have already taken the first step in that matter by putting a piece of legislation to the Parliament and making it available for public scrutiny and input. So we are moving in the right direction, and we intend between now and next year to be able to move forward in a very organized way those pieces of legislation that fall under the rubric of the good governance agenda, some of which have now, hitherto articulated. The caller make reference to integrity of public life, how we would welcome that. Indeed, persons should recall that there was an effort to put this in Parliament, and the last administration frowned upon that. The matter to do with immigration, we hope that we will have enhanced immigration services. We hope that we'll have proper policing of persons who are overstaying in our country by the immigration officers. And we hope that those persons who are working without work permit, that those persons also will be dealt with by the relevant agencies of the government. And we are committed, and we did say that we are going to civilize, as it were, the immigration services in the country. We are working on that plan, and in the budget coming, we will be able to say more on that and to put some resources towards the phase execution of the civilization of the immigration support services. So your government has been working on these matters. Indeed, I could say they have at least been prepared 2 cabinet submissions dealing with the matter of immigration and transitioning from the immigration basically still being under the control of the police to really civilize immigration service in the country. We have been looking at legislation to do with term limit. There was one passed in Trinidad and Tobago that is before the Attorney General. Indeed, 92 states have term limits, including, interestingly, Cuba, where they have committed themselves to 2 terms. In Guyana, it has worked very well, where the president is limited to 2 terms. I think each term there is about 6 years. And I personally am looking forward to our delivering and that commitment shortly.